commentary. This is of the sequel to Beverly Hills Cop. The sequel, Beverly Hills Cop 2, directed by the late, uh, what's his face? Uh, Ridley Scott's brother, Tony Scott. Yeah. This one's an hour and 42 minutes, so let's get started. So it's a few minutes shorter than the first one. A lot of people didn't like this movie. I don't know what they were expecting. I think it's an underrated sequel. Put the volume up. Is it better than the first one? No, but it's kind of like Die Hard 2, where it got a lot of flack for not being the first movie. But like my haircut, I got it for the new year. So, because I had so much hair in November and December, early December. Tomorrow I'm doing the third one. The fourth one I'll do in the new year, because I don't own it. It's only on Netflix. This one, the villain is Jurgen Prochnow, a much better actor than the one in the first movie. Beverly Hills, California. It takes place right after the first one, even though it was made 3 years later. I started the podcast earlier because, yesterday I did it in the afternoon, like almost in the afternoon. There's Bridget Nielsen, right? Yeah. This is right after she did Rocky 4. She's tall. Mm-hmm. Shaving cream on the cameras. Yeah, you can't do that now. Eat the floor. Yep, Kylo Ren, the smashing things. I think Tony Scott's direction is different from the first one, which is good, but it's the same characters from the first one. Most of them. Serge doesn't come back until the third movie. An A. She looks like a character from The Matrix, but dressed in white. Mm-hmm. This was before The Matrix came out. Detroit, Michigan. An Eddie Murphy production, yeah. He was already producing things by the 80s. There he is. You're busted. I remember that song. Jurgen Prochnow. John Ashton, again, rest in peace, man. This was his last one until the fourth movie. Bridget Nielsen. Alan Garfield. Dean Stockwell's in the movie, yeah. Gilbert Gottfried, again, rest in peace as well. Paul Reiser, breakdown. You busted. No one's watching right now because it's early, but Eddie Murphy wrote the story. Yeah, this time. You busted. Even if only one person watches this podcast, I'm gonna post it. Rest in peace, Tony Scott, man. It's a damn shame. His brother's still making movies, and he hasn't made a good movie in years. He's snapping his fingers like he's Thanos. Is that Vincent Pastorelli? Yeah, I think that's him. Yeah. He also passed away. It's a damn shame, man. Some of these actors don't get help and then they die so young. Tony Scott was sick and then he's like, yeah, I don't want to live with that. Some people can't handle fate. You're busted. Beverly Hills. That's a great shot. Tony Scott did make a lot of good movies before he passed. Some of his films are better than his brother's Ridley Scott films. Because what was Ridley's last movie? Gladiator 2? Yikes. This is a much better movie. It's shorter. It's not a 2 hour and 20 minute, CGI fest. You saw those horses in the background? Yeah. Really well shot scenes. Just like the first movie with Martin Brest. Good morning, John. What's up, heterosexual man guy? This sequel kicks the crap out of Police Academy 7. Yeah, because this is actually written. And they didn't reduce the movie by taking half of the cast out. They have most of the cast from the first movie, except for Bronson Pinchot and, of course, the villain from the first movie. And this Paul Reiser. Yeah, this is the time when Reiser was doing Aliens with James Cameron. And he only worked with him once. Paul Reiser did not come back to work with James Cameron in any other films. He wasn't in Terminator 2 or True Lies or Titanic or any of that. A. What is this? An episode of Pretty Little Liars? There's Judge Reinhold again. Because in a sequel, you do want to see some familiar faces again. It's comforting. Some of the best sequels of all time have, familiar faces. They also have some new faces. The Empire Strikes Back and The Dark Knight and Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, the Avengers: Age of Ultron, Infinity War, Endgame. We want to be connected to people that we like, that we're familiar with. Yeah, Ashton, you were a great actor, man. I miss you. I know it was a few months ago when he passed, but it felt so sudden because I just saw the fourth movie and then like a month or so later he passed. I'm like, what? That was too quickly. Grossly. I miss him a lot too. Yeah, Spidey. It's like in the Sam Raimi movies. I miss Cliff Robertson as Uncle Ben. He was still the best Uncle Ben in film. I think the villain is much better in this movie than the first one. Because the villain in the first movie sounded like this. And I'm like, no, you're not scary. You're not. A German is way scarier than a Brit with a weird accent like that. And he looks like I said, he looks like Frank Sinatra with a dot on his face. No disrespect to the late Frank Sinatra, but that's what the villain in the first movie did. Like, this is a boring scene. I don't care if this scene's not funny, so. Of course. Ronnie Cox was busy doing RoboCop, so yeah, Ronnie Cox is really good in the film, but we know why they had to write him out of the movie because he was doing RoboCop. He's the main villain in the movie. Him and Clarence Boddicker. I still prefer him over Charlie Cox because I'm just not a fan. I know a lot of people love him as Daredevil, but I could take him or leave him, guys. It's just the MCU since Phase 4 has had way too many Brits in them. Way too many. And like every movie has to have some kind of Brit, even if they're a cameo. It's a lot. Black Widow and Eternals and Shang-Chi and freaking Spider-Man. It's too much. It's like overbearing sometimes. Look at her in a black wig. There's way too many Brits in the MCU. Yeah, especially now. I mean, look at next year. The only movie the only movie the only movie that doesn't have a Brit next year is Captain America, and that's only because they don't have anybody else to put. But the next Fantastic Four movie, And the Thunderbolts, yeah, there's too many Brits, guys. I don't need this. I don't. It's over saturated. That's why Star Wars failed, because you made it too British and too woke and too diversity higher worthy. Too much. Because they can't just be black. They have to be black and gay, or black and lesbian, or Asian and this. It's overplayed. Back in the 80s and the 90s, they didn't cast people because of their orientation or gender or their skin. They got it because of talent and charisma and appeal. That's what sold movies back in the day, not the skin color. Alphabet Crimes. This one is a much faster paced movie. Like, it's almost attempted murder like the first movie. I don't let people touch me. Yeah, that's when I went to go see Sonic, I had to stay out of trouble. That was the first time I was in the theater since my operation. The last time I went to the theater was in November when I saw Red One. Yes, again, I do remember the first movie. This has continuity. Eddie Murphy's Dirty Harry. Yeah, thanks. I Sonic 3. I'm glad I reviewed it. Yeah, yeah, that's Vincent Pastorelli, man. He's a really good actor, man. And when he passed away, I'm like, yeah, he had a drug problem, man. Ah, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's Jews that don't eat pig. Nah, I don't think Muslims. I think they do eat pig. I don't know. He cracks me up, man. Eddie Murphy's just the best. He's the like I said, him and Jim Carrey. They're two of my favorite actors. No, I only took medication for my mouth. That's it. And the uh, the medication I took got rid of my psoriasis, which I'm very happy about. I had a psoriasis for like 20 years on my head. Yeah, because he's like, I'm gonna talk like this the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, he's great. I love how Eddie Murphy just he talks himself out of a jam. 20 minutes in, so this one is a little bit more faster pace, yeah. Even though the first one's a better movie, it's a better story, it's much funnier, and it's got less act. This one has more action. Yeah, because at least him and Jim Carrey have they changed with the times, and they're still funny to this day and still successful. It- that's too much money. $2,000 for a suit. My suit didn't cost that much. Yeah, Marvel should have just cast people based on their talent, not what skin color they have or what accent they have. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All these movies have been directed by a different director. Because the third one is John Landis, and then the fourth one, I forgot who directed that one. Yikes. No, I don't play with people. I don't play games. I play video games on my Switch. When it comes to getting business done, I do not screw around. I get it done. Mm. Hmm. And this film still looks good, even 30 something years later, because this was 1987. This one came out when I was two, so in 1987. Where's my bread? Gotta put this over here. Dun, 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 dun. And these movies, the score is always good. You know, the Beverly Hills Cop score, even the third one. I know a lot of people hate the third one, even Eddie Murphy himself, because he wanted to be an action star, not like Wesley Snipes. He didn't want to be the funny man in that movie. See, the emotion here feels earned. It doesn't feel forced. Now, in Beast Games, everybody cries in that show. I swear. I swear. If you did a drinking game, every time somebody was bursting into tears and going into a corner, you'd be dead because you would be drinking like 100 cups of booze. And I don't do that. I do cry in my podcast, yes, Josh, but I'm a man. I know how to control my emotions. Mostly. I'm not crying in every movie. Did I do it yesterday? No. Where's my bread? Hold on. Well, where's the bread? Where's the bread? Oh well. Back to the railroad. A better play. Hey Josh, we're 25 minutes in. He's funny, man. Yeah, I know. It's funny, man. You see, Eddie Murphy, he could command a screen. Even in a streaming movie, he can command a screen. That's funnier than anything that Kevin Hart's done in 10 years, guys. Because Kevin Hart has to scream to be funny or and cuss like out of nowhere. Again, and by the way, what you saw, John Ashton wanted to laugh. Yeah, again, what is it with all these men yelling in this movie? I'm like, guys, you don't have to yell to get your attention. If you're not deaf, you don't have to yell. Like, shut up, Rosewood. I'm like, yeah, men have such bad tempers sometimes. I do sometimes, but I don't scream. He's the best, man. I love it. There's a reason why he's still an actor, and you know, Kevin Hart's his stock fell when Borderlands came out. Because he know your strengths and weaknesses in cinema and just go with it. The hell? That was weird. Yeah, but it was actually 3 years because it was 1984. This is 1987, and then the third one was 1994. So it was years later. 1034. This that synthesizer is the best, man. It was good to hear that music again in the fourth movie. Because I'll be clear. I like these movies way more than the Rush Hour movies because Eddie Murphy doesn't get on my nerves. Chris Tucker in the first, except in the first one, the two sequels, he's a cartoon character. He's just like on crack the whole time. He's trying so hard to be funny, and I'm like, yeah. And sometimes it fails. Sometimes I get a laugh out of me, but he's just so loud, and it's too much. When you have to be loud to be funny, yeah, that's gonna get on my nerves quick. And he's not funny in Fifth Element. Oh my god, everybody hates that character because he's just dialed up to 11, and I'm like, it's not funny, guys. It's the worst part of that movie. Not Gary Oldman as the villain or Ian Holmes. No, the worst part of Fifth Element is Chris Tucker's performance. It's so grating. Here, there's nothing like that. Even Gilbert Gottfried, and I miss him a lot. He put water on his face. Look at him. He says it's a bomb. Eddie Murphy's the best, man. But see, he has to. It's funny how easily fooled these people are in these movies. Yeah, Eddie Murphy's great. Like he's performing. That's not a bomb. Why would a bomb be inside of a little paper bag like that? And this was before 9/11, by the way. This is before the The World Trade Center bombing in 1993. This was 87, so yeah. I'm glad they got these three guys to get together again one more time before John Ashton passed away. Because, you know, I miss him a lot. Mm, 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 mm. 36 minutes in. The shooting range. If you're gonna do a podcast, Josh, have fun with it. You don't have to just talk on screen. People want to see what you can do. That's what I do all the time. People see, and I had surgery in my mouth. Okay, so if I don't have excuses, no one does. Unless you know they. Is this guy from? I was that the guy in Die Hard 2? I think that's him. Yeah, he was the guy underground that had the maps or the blueprints in Die Hard 2, which came out a few years after this. Now, Jurgen Prochnow doesn't show up until like about halfway through, but he's a much better villain. Him and Bridget Nielsen are way better than the villain. Watch, yeah. I like this line, yeah. Yeah. She was a model. That's why Bridget Nielsen's so tall. He shot the screen. I think that is the same actor, yeah. Because, again, some actors do multiple franchises and sequels. I mean, Randall Park did both DC and Marvel at the same time. He was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then he did Aquaman the same year. So, yeah. He must have the best agent in the world. Yeah, there's Dean Stockwell. I think he passed away, too, yeah. Rest in peace, Dean Stockwell. There's Jurgen Prochnow. Yeah, he shows up about 38 minutes in. There he is. I've never saw Das Boot because it bored me to death and it's enjoyment. So I don't want to see any German films in the month of December or January because I want to see Japanese films and you know things like that that won't have any Brits in them. I gotta open the window. It's just too hot. My parents always have to blast the heat. It's not even that cold today. Let me just open the window. Then I'll do it. Where's outside? Where's that bread? I don't have bread here. Where is it? Drop that. There. Ah. At least I got some air now. It must have fell back there or something. As I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do in January. Well, just get one of your old films and do one, Josh. I'm doing it. Eddie Murphy is charming. 41 minutes. There's a lot out there. Just choose one. I chose things. See, it's not that hard. I had to cancel one podcast because my disc is damaged. So I'll do it in January. I could get another copy because movies are replaceable easily. I could get them on Blu-ray or 4K if I want to, or digital, and or I could stream the movie. As long as it's the film that I want to see, and I have it, it will be done. I don't make excuses. I didn't do a podcast for a week because of my tooth. 2 years ago when I got COVID, I couldn't do a podcast while having COVID. I was sick in bed. Some people don't know my limits, but I do. I know what all I have digitally and physically. Yeah, then do it. There's no more excuses, Josh. I don't care if I get 2 views doing this. I'm doing this so I can enjoy myself because winter was hard so far. It's been almost a week since it started on Caitlin's birthday, and it wasn't easy. Maxwell Dent. Showtime, I'll do it in the new year because that villain, I could not understand a word he was saying half the time, especially at the end. I'm like, you did what to me? Even the actors, Robert De Niro was like, what the hell did that guy just say? And De Niro can understand. He heard a lot of accents in his career. There is no issue, Josh. The issue would be if you did something, extremely racist or something like Roots or something. Then people will be like, okay, yeah, this is a little bit on the nose, but you're not going to do something like that. Or 12 Years a Slave or something like that. No, as long as you do something not controversial, you'll be fine. You got to push yourself. You can't just be afraid of everything. I'm not. I choose a movie, I set up the date, and I just do it. It's that simple. It's not like you have to do a code to get in. Don't you have a webcam? I got 2 of them. And I've had to do a podcast from my phone because my Wi-Fi gets messed up all the time because of a stupid tree outside. That's a good shot. Chandelier. 45 minutes in. Wheel of Fortune. This is when it was I was like afraid of everything, but no, it's just you don't can't be gimpy. You'll settle on whatever, then do it. Because the year's almost over. You got 4 days left, Josh. You don't have a year. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I think he laughed for real. Yeah, I think Judge Reinhold broke character because he was cracking up. See, he laughed. Yeah, you could tell they had a fun on set doing this movie. What will be tolerated? Yeah, Josh. Anything you do will be tolerated. It's not like you're doing a movie that's outdated. These movies are not outdated. I did them because I already did Trading Places and Coming to America, and I don't want to do Shrek because there's 4 Shrek movies, and I only have the first one on Blu-ray. So there's a strip club again, just like the first movie. 385 North. So that guy wanted to laugh. Eddie Murphy just makes people laugh, man. See, I did that. Well, there should be outdated with whatever I do. I know they're not outdated. $7 for soda? What is this? The movie theater? I could get a can of soda at the dollar store. Plus, this movie has skin in it. So what? Mistaken identity. I like watching movies. It's not a bad thing to rewatch some of these films I haven't seen in years. Because during the pandemic, I had to do whatever I had to do. Be a moving target. Be a moving target. That was a good stunt. See, there's way more action in this one. It doesn't have to wait until an hour and a half to get to the action. Tony Scott's an action director, so, you know, he was anyway. Hmm. Yeah, the time is different in Michigan compared to California. It's far. It's pretty far. Far. Okay, now the brightness of my phone came back on. Yeah, why does everybody yell in this movie? Seriously, Jurgen Prochnow not yelling. Yeah, even in the Die Hard movies, like Die Hard 2, 3, 4, people are yelling, and I'm like, why are you yelling? I'm not deaf. Men have to yell all the time. I didn't do a Hallmark movie. Yeah, that's a nice touch. There's a Rambo 2, First Blood Part 2 poster there. See, there it is. Ninja Turtle. Yes, they do. I agree, John. Actors yelling at the time all the time in the film doesn't make them intimidating, and it doesn't make them. I can hear you just fine at a normal volume. You don't have to scream. It's funny how the characters in the Loud House are not even that loud, and they're called the Louds, yet they're not screaming every scene. Yeah. Da 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 da. See, these guys had fun working together. These are fun characters. That's why they brought him back for one more round, in the fourth movie, and they were lucky to get them because John Ashton really, literally did that right before his death. So at least we got that. We got something that Star Wars didn't give us in Force Awakens. We got all three characters he liked in the first two films. You saw Cobra. That's a nice poster. Back together. One last time. With Star Wars, we had the original actors alive, and they didn't bring them back all together. It's a damn shame. But we always have the original films. Yelling isn't much of a problem if they're scared, terrified, or if there's an intense. No, but it's like every time that they have to have a conversation with a cop, they're like, that's a cliche that they scream all their dialogue. Because Axel's boss and Billy and Taggart's boss, and it's too much yelling. So fingerprints. Yep. Because the H-Man, I'm doing that to start 2025 because I haven't seen the movie in years. And I don't know if I still enjoy it or not. I've seen the original Mothra and Battle in Outer Space, but not the H-Man. I did Star Wars already in the prequels as far as Hey, Network 98, what's up? We're almost an hour in. The movie's almost over. We're like halfway through the film. We got about another 40 minutes or so. But like I said, these films could have been 90 minutes. I think the hour and 40 is a little bit long. You could trim some side characters out and it would not make a difference to me. Showtime is not an hour and 40 minutes, or was it? I think it was 100 minutes, but if you don't count the end credits, it's like 95 minutes, which is way shorter than this and, other films. Get into a bad cough. Yeah, I know. A lot of people got sick during the winter so far. Yep, presto. I should have hated Showtime, but I don't seen it once. No, it's funny. It's a very underrated movie. Getting all these Razzies and saying it's one of the worst Eddie Murphy movies, I'm like, guys, the man did 1,000 words, and he barely is funny in that movie. You know why? Because he has to be silent for most of it. That's not one of his specialties. Eddie Murphy can act with his eyes, but his best asset on film is his mouth, just like Deadpool. You take that away, and you take a big, huge, disadvantage for the film. The film has a huge disadvantage. This is why they don't make silent pictures anymore. We're an hour in. Norbit is one of the only Eddie Murphy I think is trash. Yeah, I haven't seen it because I heard it's just so horrible. It's so racist and unfunny and forced that I was like, yeah, this is it's just not funny to me. Here, Eddie Murphy's not playing multiple characters. That was the problem he had in the late 80s and the early 90s. Like, once he did Coming to America, every other film, like in the 90s, he had to play multiple characters. I'm like, that's not Eddie Murphy's strength, guys. One character that's funny is good enough. You don't need to play 12 characters. That works in stand-up. That works in a sketch show. It doesn't work in a movie. It feels it took place and no one wanted to see something past 9/11. Yes, Josh, but here's the thing. If it came out today, it would kill on streaming. Oh, I don't think it's underrated. That's you. That's me. I think it's underrated because I don't think it's the worst thing. The same Robert De Niro was sleepwalking. No, see him in any movie he's done recently. That's not a dramatic. Some sometimes it's okay to say no, but you don't have to say like, oh, this movie's gonna suck before it even comes out. Give it a chance. Thankfully, the movie's almost over. So you see, it's not like that three daughters or three sisters movie that came out with Elizabeth this year. That didn't even get a theatrical release. Not where I went, where I live. That was direct to streaming on Max. Yeah, something past 9/11. I did a lot of movies that was past 9/11. Like I haven't done Collateral Damage yet, but I'm gonna do that in the new year. I don't think it would do well on stream because of I think Showtime is fine, but I think you can't expect every movie to be the greatest movie ever, Josh. Because if you think that, you're gonna always be upset. You're always gonna be disappointed. I won't, because I'm not looking for the world. I'm looking for entertainment, not the world. This world kind of sucks right now. All this pollution and bad politics and wars and violence and racism. You think I want to do? I'll wash my hands and all that. Cat Williams, I like him. He cracks me up in Friday After Next. He could be funny because him as Money Mike, like some of his scenes crack me up like in that movie. He did some stand up around here in near the Barclays Center. He was touring, so he did his stand up here. I think last year or a couple years ago. Yeah, I'll do Showtimes, but in February because it's got a villain with an accent I don't understand. Prochnow's a little bit underused here, but when he shows up in the third act, yeah, he's still a better villain. Him and Bridget Wilson's mostly. I mean Nielsen, not Wilson. Bridget Nielsen. She's mostly the villainess that's active in the movie. His three daughters should have been theatrical. It wasn't. That's the problem. Elizabeth Olsen hasn't been in a theatrical release in like 2 years. The last one was Multiverse of Madness or something like that. Because that Mercy show that she did, it was a show, right? On our miniseries on Max. And she was not an Agatha, which is again another stream show. 64 minutes in. I know not everything can win you over, Josh. That's why I'm not recommending anything for you in January because I'm going to just see my movies that and shows that I haven't seen this year. This is a good action scene with the smoke. It looks like a war film. Yep, take that. Watch it. Watch the. Yeah, because it was a chase scene in the first movie. That's your recommendation. Just make it tolerable. No, again, look for yourself. I did. Dirty Rosewood, yeah. I think that was improvised. I'm not gonna recommend something from the asylum. That's just not me. They're wearing COVID masks, yeah. Ski mask, yeah. A lot of people wore that during the pandemic. You think after the pandemic and this tooth distraction, I'm gonna be scared? No, I'm not. See, Tony Scott knew how to do a lot of action films without CGI. Ridley just with his brother, it's like he is over dependent on CGI ever since Prometheus. Some stuff is heavily questionable. No, it's not, Josh. Heavily questionable is a faith-based movie or an adult film. That's questionable. An action film with Eddie Murphy is not. Sorry. Good stunt work. Another good song. The soundtrack in the first movie is better, but this one I do like. A cement truck. That was a good stunt. See, you don't need $200 million to do good chase scenes. Fast and the Furious. See, he left for real. You don't need $200 million. This movie didn't cost. All three of these movies cost less than $200 million, and yet a Fast and the Furious movie looks like a CGI cartoon. Recently, like the last four films, not the first movie, the last four films, 8, 9, 10, and Hobbs and Shaw. They look like cartoons, guys. It's not real. This looks way more realistic. Yeah, it's a movie, but it's real cars, real actors, real stuntmen, real people, not CGI fakery like they do in everything now. And it's R rated, not PG 13, like everything is now. Turned into superhero movies. Exactly, Network 98. Vin Diesel might as well be Superman. A bald Superman or Lex Luthor or something, with that mech suit because he doesn't get hurt. He's a superhuman now. It's unbelievable. They went from racing to a freaking a Marvel movie, and it's ridiculous. This isn't about Eddie because I only had a few movies with him. Well, I'm gonna see it. 69 minutes in. Yeah, there's a scene with Hugh Hefner. He makes a cameo here. May he rest in peace as well. They go to the Playboy Mansion. That I remember in this movie. That's one thing I was not crazy about in The Golden Child. It's supposed to be Asian, yet you have two Brits in the movie. Why? Eddie Murphy doesn't work well with Brits. I'm sorry. Even in Shrek 2, he barely has any scenes with the Brits. He mostly has scenes with Mike Myers and with Antonio Banderas. That's about it. And of course Princess Fiona from the first movie. But he barely. I don't think he has one scene with like John Cleese or Julie Andrews or Rupert Everett. I gotta take this off. Sorry. I'm so hot. So hot up here. Oh my god. Much better. Oh, people trying to roast me alive. Yep, the Playboy Mansion. Welcome benefit for the earthquake relief. Much better. See, I'm wearing my Falcon shirt. See? I'm ready to see him next year in 2025 as the new Captain America. There's Chris Rock, yeah. This is before he got slapped by Will Smith, by the way. This is a cameo. In the first one, it was Damon Wayans Sr. There it is, the mansion. Estrogen filled, Josh. And they should have got Paul Walker's brother Cody to continue. Yeah, or just cut him out of the movie entirely. So Judge Reinhold wants a laugh. Yep. Estrogen everywhere. Hey, look, a black girl. Yep. See, they're diverse here. There's all kinds of women. Yep, women everywhere. See? Yep, there it is. Like I keep saying, guys, the female body is a work of art. You don't know about the estrogen. There he is. Jurgen Prochnow. Yeah, he's a little underused in the movie, but at least he's more intimidating than the villain in the first movie. He doesn't sound like a... At this point, Tej is probably my favorite character, which is just embarrassing for the actors. Yeah, rest in peace, Hugh Hefner. Yep. Say the women's body. Yeah, it is a work of art. I have to say it, Josh. Look, work of art, work of art, work of art. It's a look at the Mona Lisa. Look at the Venus de Milo. Yeah, the Sistine Chapel. I'm not afraid. I've always been outspoken since I was a kid. A woman's body is a work of art. And they've been trying to hide that from us for 10 years. Especially Kathleen Kennedy. Like, you are never going to ever pleasure yourself to a woman ever again for Star Wars. Yeah, that's where you're wrong, Kathleen Kennedy, because we can always find a way. Yeah, look at the MCU movies. Look at some of the DC movies. Some gorgeous women. And they don't have to get naked and on camera to get our attention. You dumb broad. Seriously. Why would you want to cover art? You don't go to the Louvre and cover it with a sheet, right? Stupid. Caitlin Deaver, look at her in Booksmart. She comes out of that pool that easily could have been gratuitous. Was it? No, because Olivia Wilde knows how to direct. She knows that a woman's body is not meant to be covered completely in every movie. People just overly sensitive. Skin! Run away! No. The only ones who shouldn't see that is kids, but adults, we can and we will. I don't mean the paintings, but I don't want to see girl be degrading. Josh, doing this is not degrading. 50 Shades is degrading. Madam Web is degrading. The freaking 365 days, that's degrading. Because you're taking women and making them weak. That's not what we want. I'll get judged. Well, judge me. I don't care. I don't care. After what I've been through this year, I can't get canceled for being heterosexual. Sorry. Every man in America that went to see Denise Richards that met her, 90% of them were not gay. Oh, that air feels good, man. And the thing is that, except for the girls at the mansion and in the strip club, there's not really any female characters in this movie that show anything because again, they're side characters. Even Bridget Nielsen, she's mostly covered in the movie, and she's shown her skin in other movies. I'm not that sensitive aside from certain things. Yeah, again, it is a black. It is because he's the black lead of the movie. I don't lick my lips. I do it all the time. 76 minutes in. People made fun of Eddie Murphy for years, saying his career is over. No, he's still doing funny things on streaming, and I'm more than happy to watch it. There's Ralphie. Rest in peace, man. I miss you. This is before Disney hired me to play Iago. Yeah, I miss him a lot, man. Thanks, Gilbert Gottfried. Thanks for making me laugh. Uh, I miss him a lot, man. A lot of these actors that are no longer with us, I miss. I just did a podcast for him, one of his movies a few months ago. I did he had a cameo in Look Who's Talking Too. And unlike Adam Sandler, this man was funny till he died. And also, he didn't play a lot of stereotypes like Rob Schneider, who I don't hate, but it's funny because both of them were for Disney. Godfrey was in Aladdin and the sequels, and Eddie Murphy was in Mulan. I miss him a lot, man. Yeah, the best voice of Iago. No one will ever replace him in my heart. Yeah, that scene made me smile because I miss him a lot. He passed away, I think, last year in 2022. Yeah, Costa Rica. You saw it says 9/11. Yep, uh, that was surprisingly scary foreshadowing because it says 9/11 1986, and then did 2 decades later we had you know what happened. I do like foreshadowing, just not when it's that dark, because I wouldn't do. That's like me doing a podcast on 9/11, and I do one of those World Trade Center. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be. I don't want to get flagged. I don't want to do a podcast for a movie that will offend, upset people. That's not what I do here. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to entertain. This has been a very rough year for me and for my family. and for my friends. So I do this so that you guys could have something to watch. It's not just a 10-second TikTok video. This is a lot of fun. It's 11:24 now, so we got about 20 minutes left. This is underrated. I don't think it's as bad as critics say it is. Because I first saw Bridget Nielsen in Rocky 4 when I was a kid. The only Rocky movie I didn't see as a kid is 2 and 5. I saw them as an adult. Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it is. We all break the law at least once in our lives, even if it's like littering or spitting on the train. Yeah, unfortunately, that wasn't my fault, by the way. I have phlegm. Horse races. Glad you're enjoying yourself. Yeah, I am enjoying myself because I'm like I hadn't seen this movie in years. I always wanted to have a reason to rewatch these films because there's only the first movie has a commentary. The sequels do not. Because I can express love in a way that won't be bad on here. Yeah, no, it's just I do like the girls here. They're just not in the film that much. Teresa Randall, despite her character kind of being forced in there in 3, she's a main character in the movie. She's not a cameo or a villain. She's the main female character when you get to Wonder World. And they're off. People wearing masks? Again, another foreshadowing. I didn't wear a gas mask. I'm like, guys, it's a virus, not a nuclear explosion. Come on, Doc. Aren't you gonna put me to sleep first? Ah! That scene is laughable, Josh. If you see that movie, you're gonna die of laughter, man. Seriously. Like if you see that Judge Reinhold movie, which is way worse than this, the what was it like National Lampoon's Thanksgiving Reunion or something like that? Yeah, it's laughable. Yep, there it is, right in the head. See, she's an active villain in this movie. She's more active than Jurgen Prochnow. She was married to Stallone around this time. I'm having a good time. I'm not in pain. This is not a painful sequel. Yeah, the first one is better story and more. It's more like funny and it has less action than this one. This one they focus more on the action and some laughs, of course. Because Eddie Murphy, that's what he's good at. But it tries to be faster pace without trying to be better than the original. F crime. These movies are not too long. They're just a little bit long. Like 5 minutes could have been trimmed. An oil field. If you like women, Josh, post them. Don't wait 3 days after their birthday. Alexandra's birthday's coming up. It's on her birthday's on Sunday. Uh, the last Sunday of 2024. I gotta lie down a little bit. Ah, I've been sitting down for a while, so I want to lie down a little bit. Movie's almost over, so. Ah. We're 87 minutes in now. Here we go. Third act time. People won't care. Well, yes, you will, Josh. Stop saying that. What? Yeah. Billy thinks he's Rugger Hauer in like the split second or something like that. Yeah. You have no pictures of hair? Look for one, Josh. Go on Pinterest. You'll find plenty of pictures of girls. Yep. Ow. This movie's funny, man. Fragile. That must be Italian. Yep. A missile launcher. There's plenty of pics I've got. I did post some of them on Facebook if I have it. Yep, you learned that from Axel.
Yep, gotcha. The score's really good in this movie too. The soundtrack is definitely better in the first one. That's right, Fire in the Hole. Property of the U.S. Air Force, really? 91 minutes in. Fire. That was awesome. Billy is Rambo. Again, see what I'm saying? This movie knows. It gets me. It's a fun sequel. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm glad I did. It's a good action scene. Business. Pigeons. Gotcha. There goes the car. Yep. Real explosion, guys. No, none of this fakery like in nowadays, where everything has to be CG. Everything is too digital now. Yep. Tiger got her. uh, Here come the cops. It does. Judge Reinhold's a good actor, man. That's why they brought him back. Exactly. Yelling at women, at men is not. That's not the way to show authority. When it comes to solving a crime, do it by any means necessary, guys. This is a fun. It wasn't the same when Hector Elizondo replaced Taggart in the third one, but he's a good actor. Just like Jim Carrey in Sonic 3.
Then Paul Reiser, his leg is broken. Paul Reiser didn't come back in 3 either because he was doing his TV show in the 90s. Why you think Twisters didn't do well? Because people didn't want to see a sequel without Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. They waited too long. Even Philip Seymour Hoffman couldn't come back because he died. You know? At least we got to see these guys one more time this year. It's like the actors in Ghostbusters. You can't replicate that no matter how hard you try. And that's the end of Beverly Hills Cop 2. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, thank you for this movie, Tony Scott. And Paramount. It'll be a better way. It's a fun movie, and if you haven't seen it in a while, what are you waiting for? See it again, guys. This holds up. It's I don't know, care what the critics say. This is an entertaining sequel, just like Die Hard 2 or Die Hard with a Vengeance. Sometimes I just don't understand critics. They throw hissy fits about sequels years after the first one, and then some sequels get praised like it's better than the first one. Sometimes it is. Top Gun Maverick's better than the first Top Gun, and I'll stand by that. But some sequels are just not going to live up to the first one. Look at Twisters. Look at Independence Day Resurgence. Those are bad sequels. This is not. This is a good one. Watch it again if you haven't, guys. It's worth it. Eddie Murphy's always charming in all these movies, even in 3. As flawed as it is, I still am looking forward to seeing that tomorrow. So thanks for watching, guys, in the chat. Acknowledge me, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast tomorrow. Bye.